Hey guys, this is Smith Tucker. How are you? Hoping you there fine. Today we are going to learn C programming. Well, basically you all guys know what is C programming. Still, we will start with the basics and then we'll go further. In this tutorial, we will learn the basics and we'll go with the overview of all the chapters. So, we will start from what is C programming. So, what is C programming? C language is basically called a structure-oriented or object-oriented programming language. It is also called SOP and it is also called POS. SOP stands for Structure Oriented Programming Structure and POS stands for Procedure Oriented Programming Structure. Now, this is a very basic understanding. Now, we will start with the basics. Now, how the C compiler works. Then let's see source code. Then it will go to the preprocessor, then compiler. Compiler will compile and will execute the program if there is no errors. If there is a single error, then it would give the error as an output. Now, when there are no errors, it will it will add the additional code of libraries and create a star.obj file. The star.obj file will contain the object code. What is object code? You might be having a question. Basically, object code is a code which links the program and creates the executable file or execute the program. Okay? That Now, before we go to the introduction of C basics, we will learn what is compiler and what is interpreter. So, compiler is a software which compiles the whole program, and interpreter is a software which compiles the program line to line and gives the output and error line to line. Now we will know what is the basic difference between them. Compiler translates the program, scans the entire programs and translates the whole into a machine code, translates the program and translates the one statement at a time. Interpreter translates one statement at a time, while the compiler translates the entire program and converts the whole code into a machine code. It takes less amount of time to analyze the source code, but the overall execution time is slower. It analyzes the code very fastly, but overall execution time is slower because it checks line to line, while the compiler takes large amount of time to analyze the source code, but overall time is comparatively faster because it compiles the whole program and then shows the error and output. Okay, no intermediate object code is generated, hence interpreter are memory efficient. There are no object file or no object code is generated which saves the memory. This is the main advantage of interpreter. I can give the 5-star to this point. Generates the intermediate object code which further requires linking, hence requires more memory. Compiler also require object code to link, hence it requires more memory and takes a lot of time. Continues translating a program until the first error is met, in which case it stops. Hence debugging is easy. See, when an error is generated, it automatically detects the first error and it checks the error unless and until the program is over. Hence the debugging is easy. It generates the error message only after scanning the whole program, hence debugging is comparatively hard. See, in compiler, debugging takes a bit of more time as it compiles the whole code, while in interpreter, as we type, the code is checked. This is a good idea of interpreter. Now, the programming languages like Python, Ruby, Visual Basic use interpreter, while the programming languages like C, C++, Java, .NET, blah 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 uses compilers. See, compiler and interpreter both has advantages with disadvantages that we will learn in detail later. Now, you can see the diagrams of compiler. In this figure comes the source code, pre-processing, object code, and machine code. Then is converted into machine code. And you can see the figure of an interpreter, which is quite similar, but the source code, then intermediate code, then directly processing, interpreted machine code. That's quite quickly. There are less processes, no object code is generated, memory is saved. This is the main advantage of interpreter, less time to check. Now, we will learn basics of C programming. Now, what are the parts or how a C program is divided? Wait for a second, guys. Here. Wait for a second. By doing this symbol, one can write anything in the documentation section. Here, the programmer writes something about the program so that the next programmer can easily understand. This is merely written before the program starts. Then, after using a hash operator, include hash include keyword is written, and the directories like studio.h, conio clude is included. Conio stands for console input output, and stereo stands for standard input output. Now, then the part comes this is called linker section. Before that, there is documentation section, then preprocessor section. Hash define. You can declare the universal constants like pi 3.14 here, and you can use pi. It will be automatically assigned 3.14. This is quite easy method. Then you have a global declaration. In a global declaration, you can declare the global functions and global variables. For example, we will take a global variable int a equals to 5. Now, this int a void main. Here also it can be accessed. Here in main you can access it, and when you create a user-defined function like void add, you can use a here also. This way you can say that the global variables are the variables that can be used in any part of program, while if we declare int a here, then we can't use a in any other part of program. If we use a here after declaring a locally, then the error will be displayed. Please undefined symbol a this way. And you can also declare global functions like void add here, and then write the body of the user-defined function here. This is the way to make a C program. Then we will add void main. Void main is a function from where the program starts. Void main is a program function where the program starts. So void main is only unique in a program. Void main cannot be 2 or 3 because here the main function is a part where the program starts. If there are 2 or 3 main functions, then the compiler will be confused from where to start a program. So there will be on a main function. In main, we have two parts: declaration part and executable part. Before executable part, it is compulsory to declare all the variables and all the errors, all the pointers in the declaration part. When we start executable part, we cannot declare any variable or a pointer or an array in the executable part. That is compulsory. But in OOPS, you get a functionality that in executable part you can declare a variable. That's quite good functionality, but in SOP you don't get it. This is the main disadvantage of SOP, a structure-oriented programming language. Now we will go with the first simple program which prints hello world. This is the first program which is taught to you in school, in tuitions, everywhere. Now we will go documentation section, linker section, void main, int main. See, void means the function does not return a value. Int means function return a value in the integer form. That you will learn later. Now, this all is in a declaration part. See, here you get an error that the variable declaration must appear first. Why? Because it is present in executable part. Okay. Now we use printf statement. In the arguments we pass a string hello world. In between the double quotes you can write anything. You can write fuck or any other word. You can even write harming words, poem, your name, anything. Okay. Now I guess you might have understand the first basic program. Now we will go with the second program. Reading input from a console. Console means a command window or black window in the basic language. In the layman language we can call it a black window. Now, reading input from console. We will include standard input output dot h. This is a declaration part. Now, int num1, we have taken number 1 as an integer variable and second num2 as an integer variable. Then we are printing a statement, please enter two numbers. Then we are using scanf function. Scanf function takes the input from the users, and here writing ampersand is necessary as we are addressing num1 and num2. So you need to add scan ampersand. This %d, first %d references num1 and second %d references num2. Then printf, you enter %d, %d, num1 and num2. Here if you don't write ampersand, it's unnecessary because you aren't storing or you aren't referencing anything here. You are just printing it. Okay, return 0, function return 0 value. If you don't return in int main, then you will have a warning, not an error. Listen carefully. Warning that function should return a value. Okay, next. Now we will go with the if statement later. Okay, bye bye. I guess you have enjoyed the tutorial, but let's take something. Let's take the example. Let's see what is machine code, what is C code, etc., etc. Now, how to program. The following examples are adapted from Wikipedia. Fibonacci sequence. This is the logic, and we will implement it in a program. Now, this is the program in a Haskell language. You can see it clearly. Then, in a procedure-oriented programming language, C language. This program is a C language. Here, integer. Here, variables are used. Then a loop is used, and then the function. Then integer variable first is written. Then in an assembly language, this program is in an assembly language, which is low-level programming language. This is a machine level code, which is 32-bit x86 code. This type of code is generated by compiler, which we call a machine code. Okay, now we will learn if for everything later. Till that, goodbye and thank